5. A multiple of 5. Multiple just means the multiplication table, so the 5 times tables, 5, 10, 15, 20. If you can't remember between multiples and factors, then just remember I always use my multiplication tables to remind me that multiple means number that goes into times tables. Really important for this question, just a logistical thing, from this list. So you need to be picking a multiple of 5 from this list. You can't just write down anyone you want to. A few people did that and they dropped marks for it. Now, multiple of 5, so in this case, you just pick one because it's asked for 1. I'm going to pick the one that I feel most confident about. So I know 5's in the 5 times tables. If you're uncertain about factors and multiples in this case, in fact, you could just put 5 because it is a factor and a multiple at the same time. But you could also put 15, 25 or 35. B, a factor of 15. So a factor is a number that is the opposite of multiple. It goes into, it multiplies to make it. So a factor of 15, 1, 15, 3, 5. So factor, I'm looking for one of these in this list which matches this. Well, 3 is in the list, 5 is in the list, 15 is in the list. I'm going to go with 5 because I think it's nice to have the same answer for 2, factor, multiple. But I could pick any of the others except 1 because it's not on the list, but it is a factor. Then I've got C, square number. That just means a number that's made by another number times itself. So 1 times 1 is 1, so 1 is a square number. 2 times 2 is 4, so 4 is a square number. 3 times 3 is 9, so 9 is a square number. 4 times 4 is 16, so 16 is a square number. You could also write it as 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared equals 16, equals 9, equals 4, equals 1. I'm going to look at my list. I'm just going to write my square numbers until I find one. Well, I know 9 is 1. Also did a 5 squared, that's 5 times 5, that's 25. 25 is also on the list, so I could pick either of them. In this case, I'm going to pick 25 because I like the number 25. So for question 3, so C, B, and A. Could do that. And then finally, a prime number. A prime number is a number that only has 2 factors, 1 and itself. So 2 is a prime number because it has 1 and 2, and those are its only factors. 3 is a prime number because it has 1 and 2. 4 isn't a prime number because it's got more than 2 factors, 1, 4, and 2, which times by itself. It's also a square number, so it's not. If I have a look at my list, 3, 5, 7 are all prime numbers. 9 is not. 9's not because it's got 1, 3, and 9 as factors, so it's got 3 factors. 15's not because it's got 1, 15, 3, and 5 as factors, so it's got 4 factors, so that's also not. So in my answers, I could put 3, 5, or 7. I'm going to put 7. Good. Then I'm going to go down to question 18. Mustafa says if you multiply an odd number by 3 and subtract 2, you will always get a prime number. Well, the first thing to do is to think about the vocab in the question. So prime number means a number which has 2 factors, only 2 factors, 1 and itself. So 2 is 1 because it's got 2. 6 isn't 1 because it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 factors. So 6 isn't 1, 2 is. The next thing to note is what is actually asking us to do. Multiply an odd number by 3 and subtract 2. So we know Mustafa is wrong. So then what we need to do is we're going to just keep finding examples until we find one which fits this rule. And I normally like to start with nice normal numbers. So I'm going to do 3 times 3 because I'm multiplying 3 by an odd number. I know this seemed a bit pedantic for some of you, but a lot of people wrote 2 times 3, which wouldn't work because 2 is an even number. So you would have got the mark. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 take away 2 is 7. Oh, well, that does work. 7 is a prime number. So I just need to keep going because I know Mustafa is wrong because the question's told me is wrong. So I'm going to do 5 times 3 equals 15. 15 take away 2 equals 13. That's also a prime number. So I know Mustafa's right. Still Mustafa's right according to this one. So let's keep going. I'm not going to do 7 because I've worked out that's going to be a prime one. I'm going to try, let's try 9. 9 times 3 equals 27. 27 take away 2. Well, that equals 25. Oh, 25 isn't a prime number because 25 has 3 factors. 1, 25, and itself. Brilliant. And then what I do is I'd write a sentence. Now, these sentences do not need to be long. You just have to write clearly stating it and also use your calculation as I have already done. So I've written this sentence here. Mustafa is wrong because 3 times 9 equals 27. 27 take away 2 equals 25. 25 is not a prime number. So it doesn't need to be long. Use the math that you've done in your sentence just to prove it. So this is your proof. And then just really clearly state why he's wrong. So it's not a prime number. Really spoon feed the examiner to make them really aware that you are excellent at maths and you've done this very, very well. Finally, for number 19, this is one of the highest marking questions in the test. This is something you should be giving at least a good few minutes to because it's worth 4 marks. 4 marks means you should be spending 4 minutes thinking. Or at least 2. You should give at least 2. Now, the trick with this is there's going to be loads of working out marks. And these working out marks are great because you don't actually always have to understand the question to get them. If I see question 19, in a competition, a prize is won every 214 seconds. Estimate the number of prizes won in a day, 24 hours. Now, look at that word estimate. What does estimate mean? It means round. Round. So I just need to round all the numbers in my question. I'm not thinking about how to solve it. If you're stuck on any problem solving worded question which is multiple marks, just start doing something because a lot of the time most people don't understand what the question is about until they've started doing something, and you'll find that as you do it, it becomes clearer and clearer till eventually you sort of get to the answer. So for this one here, estimate means I need to round all the numbers in my question to one significant figure. So if I look at this one here, my first significant figure is the 2. The next number underneath is 0, so I'm going to round down because 0 is less than 5. So this would round to 2,000. I'm going to round 24 to one significant figure. So I look at my 2, I look at the 4 in the column underneath, and I'm going to round up or down. I'm going to round down because 4 is less than 5, so I've got 20. That's 1 mark. That's 2 marks. This is a 4-mark question. You've got 2 marks without knowing any of the words except the words estimate, and you've rounded all your numbers in the question. Then, let's start thinking about it now. There's units in this question, seconds and hours. So there's probably going to be something to do with converting between units of time, seconds and hours. And my time is about to go, so in a second, magically, this will blip. I'll start again. There we go. Now, thinking about it, approximately 1 prize is won every 2,000 seconds, right? So that means every 4,000 seconds, 2 prizes are won. So if I wanted to work out how many prizes are won in 24 hours, I need to see how many lots of 2,000 seconds go into approximately 20 hours. Only problem here then is I would do 20 divided by 2,000, but these units are different. I need to convert the hours into seconds so I can compare them. How am I going to do that? Well, even though I'm not sure, I just write down the times I know. Well, I know 1 hour equals 60 minutes. What do I have to do to hours to convert them into minutes then? Well, to get 1 to 60, I need to do times by 60. So I'm going to do 20 times 60, which is going to give me 6 times 2 is 12, times 100, 1,200 minutes. But I'm still not on the right units because I want seconds. So then I'm going to do 61 minute converts to 60 seconds. So what do I have to do to a minute to get into seconds? I need to times by 60. So I've got 120 minutes in a day approximately, times that by 60. Now I could do this in my head, or I could use some sort of multiplication method. I know from the top of my head that 12 times 6 is 72. And then I need to multiply this by 3 zeros by 1,000. So it's 72,000. So if there's 72,000 seconds approximately in a day, and 2,000 prizes come a prize comes every 2,000 seconds, then I just need to see 72,000, that's a weird 2,000 divided by 2,000. Quick way to do that, divide both by 100, because if you see they've both got 3 zeros, they've both got 1,000 times. So 72 divided by 2, what's 72 divided by 2? It's 36. So then, answer 36 prizes. I can't emphasize it enough, 2 of those marks were done without the estimation. The real key thing is to start looking at things like that. There's units conversions, that means the question's going to involve unit conversions. Think about how, if you want to start writing out, like I did here, well, I know one prize is 2,000, 2 prizes 4,000 seconds, how am I going to work out how many prizes are in 20 hours? Done. And we've also done section 1. Congratulations, everyone. Now we're on to section 2, which is rectangles in area, which is great. So, look at the area below. 8, 5. Calculate the perimeter of the rectangle. Well, I know the perimeter is the distance around the edges, so adding all up the lengths. So I know perimeter means addition. Now there are 2 ways I could do this. I could add up all the lengths around the rectangle. Remember, you need to write in all of the side lengths. So this 5 is the same as this because it's opposite on the rectangle. This side is the same as this because it's opposite. So I could do 8 plus 8 plus 5 plus 5. So 8 plus 8 is 16. 5 plus 5 is 10. 16 plus 10 is 26 centimeters. Remember, units. Or I could do 8 plus 5, which is 13, and then do 13 times 2. Because if these 2 add together to make half of the rectangle, then to work out the whole, we just multiply by 2. 26 centimeters. And look, same answer. Excellent. And there it is there as well. 2 marks.